we will start our review of algebra facts for our college algebra course with linear equations and their properties and how to solve them. As a reminder, in OpenStax College Algebra, this is section 2.2, linear equations in one variable. So a linear equation in one variable is an equation that is of the form ax plus b equal to 0, where a and b are real numbers and a is not 0, which means you do indeed have a variable x you are trying to solve for. Any value of the variable that results in a true statement is called a solution, or we also say that this value satisfies the equation. So x equal to -3 satisfies the equation for x plus 5 equal -7, because if I plug in x equal to -3 here, on the left, I will get -12 plus 5, and that will be -7, so the equation is true. The left side is equal to -7. However, 0 is not a solution to the equation, because when I plug in 0 for x, I will get 0 plus 5, and 0 plus 5 is 5, which is not equal to -7. So instead of guessing what could be possibly the value of x that satisfies, we want to actually solve the equations. And to solve the equation, we use the addition property and the multiplication property of equations. The addition property says that if you have an equation with the left side equal to the right side, you can add the same quantity, which could be negative, so you can also subtract the same quantity on both sides, and the equation will still be valid. So these are two equivalent statements. The multiplication property says that if the left side is equal to the right side of an equation, then you can also multiply or multiply by the reciprocal, which means to divide both sides with the same number that is non-zero, and then you will still have an equivalent statement. So the two sides will still equal to each other. Now, to visualize that, you want to think that your equation is a seesaw and it balances, because whatever weight is on the left, the same weight is on the right. So these two quantities are equal to each other. And then if you add the same quantity on both sides, then the seesaw will still balance. And if you remove the same quantity from both sides, then the equation will still balance, which is the seesaw. The multiplication property says that if I have a seesaw that balances because the left side and the right side are the same weight, then I can double or half those sides and it will still balance. So here, for example, I multiplied by 5 both sides, and I ended up with 5 times L on the left and 5 times R on the right. And the equation, my seesaw, will still balance. So this is the idea. Now, the concept with multiplication property, though, is that the number you are multiplying by cannot equal to 0, because it is true that I could have a situation where the two sides are not equal to each other, so the left is greater than the right in this example, so the seesaw does not balance. But when I multiply by 0, when you multiply a quantity by 0, 0 absorbs the quantity. It's called the absorption quantity, the absorption property. So 0 times left will be 0, and 0 times right will be 0. And when you multiply by 0, then your seesaw will balance because it has no weight on either side. So these are multiplication by 0 does not generate an equivalent statement. So think about the addition property and the multiplication property and how they work, and let's see how we use them to solve equations. So we solve one-step equations if we use the inverse operation on both sides. So for example, if x plus 5 is 7, x has to be 2. 2 plus 5 will equal to 7. And that in algebra translates as an addition of -5 on both sides, because this gets rid of the x plus 5 and it just leaves x by itself, and 7 minus 5 will equal to 2. If I have x minus 7 equal to 9, then I need x to be large enough so that when I subtract 7, I get 9. That gives me an x equal to 16. How do I know that? Algebraically, if I add 7 to get rid of the 7 on the right side, I have to add 7 on the left, and I will get x by itself on the right side equal to 16 on the left side. If 5 times x is equal to 35, then x must be 7, because 5 times 7 is equal to 35. But algebraically this means that if I divide both quantities on the left and on the right by 5, that will leave me x on the left, because 5 divided by 5 is equal to 1, and 7 on the right. And if x divided by 4 gives me 3, then x must be 12, because 12 divided by 4 is 3. But algebraically the way to find that is I'm going to multiply by 4 both sides of the equation, both quantities, then x divided by 4 times 4 will give me x, because 4 divided by 4 is equal to 1, and I will find out that x is equal to 12. Now, when I have linear equations that have both addition and multiplication in their sides, then we do the order of operations in reverse. First we will add and subtract, and then we will multiply and divide. And remember that we will do that in both sides. So here, if I have 5 minus 7x equal to 26, my first task will be to get rid of this 5 from the left, and that will happen if I add -5 on both sides. So I will end up with -7x equal to 26 minus 5 is 21. And then to find x, I will divide by -7 so that I get -7 divided by -7 is 1x. And if I divide by -7 on the left, I will divide by -7 on the right. And I will find out that x is equal to -3. In the other example, I have 4x minus 2, so my first goal is to get rid of the -2 that is next to the 4x. I will do that by adding 2 on both sides. I will get 16 equals to 4x, and then to solve for x, I will divide by 4 both sides, and therefore I will get 4 equals to x. In general, when we have multiple steps to conduct, we conduct them in a certain order. Step 1, we distribute to eliminate parentheses. If after you eliminate parentheses you have fractions, it is easier to eliminate the denominators of those fractions. We will look at them when we look at equations with denominators. After you distribute parentheses and you don't have parentheses anymore, you want to combine like terms on each side of the equation. If you do that, you should end up with a variable term and a constant term on the left, and a variable term and a constant term on the right, or less than that. You should not have more than that. In step 3, you get all the variables on one side and all the constants on the other side. I like to move all the variables on the left. It's a habit of mine. So you will add and subtract variable terms from the right to the left, so that you can move them, eliminate them from the right and move them to the left. And you will add and subtract constant values from both sides, so that you can eliminate them on the left and have them on the right. If you successfully complete step 3, you will be in a situation E times x equals f, and your last step is to solve for x. You do that by dividing both sides by the coefficient of the variable. That's the number e. You obviously want e to not be 0. And x will equal f divided by e, whatever that quantity is. You can always check your answer at the end to make sure that you found the correct answer. If you found the correct answer, that answer will satisfy the original equation. So let's try this in the example on the left. I don't need to do step 1 because there are no parentheses to eliminate. And I don't need to do step 2 because there are no like terms on the left. 2x is not a like term with 7, and negative 5x is not a like term with negative 3. So I am done with step 2, and I am successfully in the form ax plus b equals cx plus d. That's what that looks like. And I'm ready to do step 3. So step 3 says move the variables on one side. I choose to move them to the left. That means I want to eliminate the negative 5x from the right, and I will do that if I add 5x on both sides. And I will choose to eliminate the constants from the left and move them to the right, and that will require for me to add negative 7 on both sides. And that will give me 2x plus 5x, that's 7x, equals negative 3 minus 7, that's negative 10. My last step, step number 4, says that if I am in the form ex equal to f, then I will divide by e to solve for x. So I will divide by 7, and I will get x equal to negative 10 over 7. My check step, step number 5, is to make sure that I did get the correct answer. So I'm going to plug in 2 times negative 10 sevenths plus 7. On the left side, I'm going to plug in negative 5 times negative 10 sevenths minus 3 on the right side. And if they are the same number, then I will know that I have done a good job solving the equation. So I did that in my calculator. I got 4 1/7 on both sides, and these are the same values, so I know that I did this right. So I checked my answer. Let's do the next question. Step 1 is to distribute. So I'm going to distribute the 4 to the first parenthesis and the 5 to the parenthesis on the right side. So I will have 8x minus 20 plus 3 equal to 20x minus 5 minus 10x. Step number 2 says after you have eliminated parentheses, add like terms. I will add the 20 and the 3 and the 20x with the negative 10x on the right side. So I will end up with 8x minus 17 on the left equals 10x minus 5 on the right. And then I will follow the process for steps 3 and then steps 4. So I will subtract 10x from both sides. This will eliminate the x from the right. And I will add 17 to both sides, and that will eliminate the negative 17 on the left. I will end up with negative 2x equals to positive 12. And then to solve for x, I will divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is negative 2, and I will get x equal to negative 6. This is my tentative solution. To check if my solution works, I will plug it into the original equation. So let's try that. So I will do 4 times 2x, x is negative 6, minus 5 plus 3 in my calculator. Notice that every time I punch in the value of x, I do use parentheses always so that my calculator knows to multiply. And if these values are both equal to each other, then I have correctly found the solution to be x equal to -6. So I did that in my calculator and both sides were -65. And again, that tells me that I have found the correct solution. So x equal to -6 checks. Now, one thing I want to draw your attention to is that your calculator has two different buttons. This button over here is the negative, and this button over here is a subtraction. So when I enter -6, I use the white button in my calculator that is part of the numbers. And when I want to subtract the -10x, or the -5 or the -1 in that expression, then I will use the subtraction button.